Alright, my fellow peeps and peepettes, today's spotlight review here at the reviewing station is the very last action figure to come out of the Deluxe Wave 1 series of the Transformers Studio series, and it's Autobot Ratchet. But before we take a look at the action figure in hand, let's put him aside for a moment and take a good look at his packaging, as partake of every single video review on this channel. Here's the artwork of Autobot Ratchet, which looks more detailed than the actual action figure himself, spoiler alert, but you should know that by now. Number 4 of this line, Studio Series, Autobot Ratchet, Autobot logo, ages 8 and plus. Transformers, the very first live-action movie, is where this character comes from. So, we have Hasbro's logo right here, with Takara Tomy on the top, recognizing that this is, in fact, dual branding here. What a partnership. Transformers logo going to the top, where the Misaligned Generations logo is just waiting for me to speak its name. On to the side here, and we've got an Autobot logo with an open window here for the side packaging, which looks good. We've got that artwork of Autobot Ratchet again, and this time we can see its leg. Down below all that, we've got the authentic Transformers logo, which, to remind you, if it doesn't say authentic, it's a knockoff. On to this side here, where everyone's going to be displaying their boxes on the side, we got Studio Series, Autobot Ratchet, number 4, Deluxe Class. And back here we got some information about the backdrop that's included with this figure, and it happens to be the Mission City Battle. And here we have 18 steps of transformation from robot mode to vehicle mode to vehicle mode to robot mode, and that's the way it works. Build the cats. It should say collect the cats one more time. Other figures available in this line: Bumblebee, Decepticon, Stinger, and Crowbar. Alright, so that's it for the packaging. Now, let's take a look at his instructions. And focus on the instructions. You can do it. You can do it. You know you want to. Come on. Come on. There we go. And now that I have your attention, now let's take a look at the action figure, because that's what you want to see. You don't care about the instructions. And I gotta say, my camera is making this green look a lot darker than what it actually is. Here's a good side-by-side comparison with his Deluxe Wave mate, being an Autobot that is. Let's bring in the other two. So here's Crowbar, and we're gonna have to put Stinger over here. You know, it's not the best. He could be just a little bigger, just because he is a bigger vehicle when compared to the others, but I guess it's okay, height-wise. Yeah, I'm gonna let it slide. This line is okay, you know. It's really good, as a matter of fact. I didn't mean to insult you by saying it's okay. It's really good. But anyway, back to the review. You will notice that his weapon is stored on top here, where he's got a spare tire molded in, which looks really nice. This is his weapon. It's a saw blade. Alright, so anyway, what does this vehicle do? Well, it rolls, as it should, with no hindrance whatsoever. Nothing is touching the ground except for the tires, and that's all you really need. So let's get in close on this vehicle, because we got quite a bit of paint going on here with the orange and the blue, that very nice baby all-spark metallic blue that I really do like with this line. We got red for the sirens, we got black here for the rails, and this, and then you got some red here for his tempographed designs here with fire department right there, search and rescue. Right here it says the same thing, search and rescue, fire department, with the Autobot logo here on the door. Same thing on this side here. This is painted, this is all clear plastic that's tinted over in a very dark blue, but it does match up, and that's all I could really ask for. So, you know, props to Hasbro and Takara on working on something really good here. So, with that out of the way, there's not much else to really talk about here, so why don't we just go ahead and get him into his robot mode. So on the transformation with this action figure, and let's take this as slow as we've been doing it throughout this whole series so far, so nothing comes undone. Alright, so simple enough. Let's go ahead and untab these sections if they haven't already, because these parts stick out like a sore thumb on some figures. Mine, not too bad. Alright, now that we've taken care of that, what we're gonna do is we're going to untab the top section here. There's two tabs sticking this piece underneath, like so. And then this... big tab right here where my finger's pointing behind. It keeps all this connected on the top. Just go ahead and untap that. So you got this moving out of the way from all these hinges here that we'll be working with very shortly with the backpack. Next thing to do is to go ahead and untap the headlights in the front section of this ambulance. So just do that. You have to really get in here and pull on this guard piece in order to get this out, because there's no other way to really do it, in all honesty. And once you've taken care of that, you've got enough room now to finally free up his arms, just like so. And lift up the back piece here so this whole entire roof goes up to where you can get enough room to bring out his legs entirely. So there we go, there's his feet and there's his legs. Make sure these panels are completely flush. There we go. Alright, so now let's fold in this bit right here, and we'll come back to all this in just a moment. Is you want to hold down on this front piece here, because there's actually a divider right here to let you know that this piece right here is supposed to be rotating. If you try and rotate this whole thing, you can only go so far before everything starts tightening up on you, and you may run the risk of actually breaking the figure. So again, hold down this front piece here, and go ahead and grab one of these shoulders and start rotating. And there we go. See how easy that was? Had I not been holding that in place, again, it would have tightened up. So rotate the head. There we go. Alright, so let's go ahead and tab this section in. Just like that. Bring down his arms. Just like this. Next, what we're going to do is that this hinge right here, this pin joint, is going to come out frontward, where this tab is going to be sticking out at the front of the shoulder. We're going to rotate this wheel here to have his spotlights in the front. There is a hole right there that's going to tab into that tab right there. Just like that. Pretty much repeat the same thing on this side here. Just like that. Rotate. Tab in the hole. Right here, just like that. This piece should actually come down like that, and I think that should lock everything in place. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, I could go back and look at the instructions, but it's kind of late now. So now let's work about the backpack. So on this hinge here, we're going to go ahead and fold this in until it becomes flush right here with this back section. And that spare tires hole right here is actually going to tab into the very small tab that I'm pointing at right here with my finger. That's right, a hole is going to go into that tab right there. You'd think this wouldn't work actually, but it does. So now that that's clipped in place, let's readjust the figure's position. And lo and behold, there is Autobot Ratchet in his robot mode. And let's raise the camera so we can get a good look at him dead center. There we go. Alright, now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys that this is probably the weakest figure of this line right now as it stands for my collection, because as you can see, he has some very, very loose hips. Not to the point where they're falling on their own, but when I go about like this, they just go all over the place. So, you know, it is one figure out of 4 other figures of this line, or should I say 3 other figures of this line. So, you know, it's not bad. It just could be so much more. Let's do some side-by-side comparisons. So here's Bumblebee, and as you can see, the size really does make quite the difference here. As you can see, for a deluxe action figure compared to another deluxe action figure, this is an amazing size. And we're not done there. Let's bring in Crowbar here so you can see he's a pretty big Decepticon compared to Ratchet here. More room. So that's about as much as I'm going to get him in on there. So as you can see, when it really comes down to it, Bumblebee is the smallest. Stinger would be the second smallest. And then Crowbar would probably be, yeah, he is actually the tallest of this. Comparing to the head size, Ratchet is actually second in being the biggest of this line. So yeah. There you go. There's not much else to really say about that. It is very cool how they're working with scale. I do like it. But for some reason, I still feel like Ratchet maybe just a little smaller than what he should actually be. Maybe it's just the vehicle mode. Maybe that's just what's bugging me. Let's give him his weapon here. Tap that in like so. And you can put it on either side here. You can put it on his left forearm. Or you can put it on his right forearm, because he has holes on both sides. And that looks okay. You know, for being a doctor, it is nice that he does have a saw blade, you know, so he can amputate maybe Bumblebee or something, because maybe that would explain why his actual arm keeps popping off in the reviews. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely an amazing weapon. It would make Hot Rod from the animated movie very jealous here, because look how detailed this thing is. That's very cool looking. It would have been nice if he had some kind of blaster, but then again, I don't think he's ever used a blaster in the movie. But, you know, it's still a really cool figure. Nonetheless, even if it does feel like I'm nitpicking on the guy. Onward to the articulation on this guy. He has a swivel joint for his head. He's got ball joints for the shoulders. He's got a bicep swivel joint, double jointed elbows. And that's pretty much it for the arms. No waist swivel whatsoever due to transformation. Ball jointed legs, so you can get him high kicking that much. Back to a normal stance, because there's just so much kibble in the back that's hindering everything at this point. Raise the arms here, and you can get the full JCVD split, so that's nice. You do have a 5 swivel joint that really doesn't rotate too much, but it does actually make the center detail kind of move around as well. That's really nice. It reminds me of the Mecha Live gimmick. Pretty cool. So anyway, you do have single jointed knees that does get double jointed movement here, which is very nice, but that's also due to transformation for how much of a flex it can get. And you got a hinge joint here to allow some up and down movement at the feet, and there's also a ball joint to actually get some ankle rocker tilt, which is very nice. It's something I was not expecting with this figure at all. So you can get him in a wide range of poses, and due to the fact that he does have so much of a trunk going on in the back here, I mean, it does really help out with displaying this figure, because he kind of acts like a tripod, which is pretty cool. It does work out, so I do appreciate that, even if it is an eyesore to some people. But I guess you could just rip it off if you want. And yeah, you can see I am trying to work as best as I can with these hips, but they are pretty loose on my figure. And it doesn't help that this is a very smooth platform here, so he's always going to be sliding around. So that's as best as I can get when it comes to posing the figure at the moment. And one thing I did not notice at all, ever, when it came to this character from the movie, is that he had double thumbs. Look at that. 2 thumbs on both hands. I've never noticed that. That's very nice, I suppose, because we got one other thing to take a look at, and hopefully we can put it to the best test. So here we go. Here is his stage, which is the Mission City battle picture. Stand up, Ratchet, you're embarrassing me. Let's fold these out so you can get a good look at everything that's going on here. As you can see, it's the final battle in the city in the first film, where everything's blowing up, buildings are collapsing, the jets are flying by, probably chasing Starscream right there like in the film. And yeah, this is a really nice scenery, and let's test the figure stability on it. Okay, so due to the backpack, he has a tendency to push this back on itself, but it is holding. It works a lot better than crowbars, that's for sure, and he looks really good on it. He's not all the way at the edge, except for maybe that toe there, because I got him tilted at an angle. So leave him like that, and there you go. Now he's completely on it, and he looks like he fits right in the scale with this this stage here. Unlike Crowbar, again, the figure felt too big for the stage. It looked too small for the guy. So this really does work. It's probably more durable than Bumblebee's, actually. Yeah, that's pretty strong. I was going to go ahead and wrap up this video review by saying, yes, I do recommend Autobot Ratchet. I know some people will be blown off by the size of his vehicle form compared to the others in this line, but really the robot mode is where it's all at. Because you're not really going to display your figures in their vehicles now, are you? You're really going to display them in their robot modes with their dynamic sceneries that they come with for as long as they can actually stand up, unlike crowbars. You know, I'm going to consider that review just a bit of luck that I actually got him to stand on it at the very end without it tipping over on him, but probably won't happen again. So anyway, this line is really great. I do like these figures. I gotta say though, the weak hips on the Ratchet is something to be worried about, because I guess it's a size issue. So some people have had some bad bumblebees. I didn't. Some people have had some mess up stingers, especially with one missing a side view mirror, and I don't have that problem. Crowbar, of course, he is the weak sauce of this line thanks to the dreads. They just get in the way of everything, especially with the transformation and storage in vehicle form. It's like impossible. But Autobot Ratchet is, he's okay. He's a lot better than Crowbar, that's for sure. It's just, you know, again, the hips is what's causing my taste on this figure to be just a little lower than the others at this point, except for Crowbar. I really wish they could have done some more with him. But that's going to do it for this review. I've said enough. This is a really long one, and I have to stop now. We'll come back very shortly with more Studio Series figures. That is, as soon as they start popping out in stores. Until then, questions, comments, you know what to do. Hit it down below in the comment section of the video. If you like today's video review, hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't already, sub up because it's very important. And don't forget to check out my other Transformer Studio Series action figures that are shown right here in their own proper video reviews from previously on this channel. Until then, this is the unprofessional toy reviewer Redis Power signing off, saying thank you very much for watching this, and I will see you whenever you see me.